John Lennon wasn't always the kindest about Paul McCartney's work. Together, John and Paul wrote the vast majority of the Beatles' music, and their songs were credited to Lennon-McCartney, but not all were truly joint efforts. In the early days, John and Paul wrote together, predominantly at Paul's childhood home on Forthland Road in Allerton. As they got older and artistic differences emerged, Paul and John tended to write independently before presenting songs to the other for final touches and edits. About their writing partnership, John said, "Paul provided a lightness, an optimism, while I would always go for the sadness, the discords, the bluesy notes. There was a period when I thought I didn't write melodies, that Paul wrote those, and I just wrote straight, shouting rock and roll." But of course, when I think of some of my own songs, In My Life, or some of the early stuff, This Boy, I was writing melody with the best of them. However, John was also not afraid to criticize Paul. After the Beatles split, John took aim at the 1967 album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. He was never a fan of the single Let It Be and disliked the closing medley of the 1969 album Abbey Road. Another song of Paul's that John turned his ire towards was Hello Goodbye. The non-album single was released in November 1967 with I Am the Walrus as its B-side, their first release after the death of manager Brian Epstein. The song was purely written by Paul, who wanted to explore the idea of duality with it. He explained, "The answer to everything is simple. It's a song about everything and nothing. If you have black, you have to have white. That's the amazing thing about life." John dismissed it and was more than happy to say it was Paul's work in a 1980 interview. He said, "That's another McCartney." Smells a mile away, doesn't it? An attempt to write a single. It wasn't a great piece. The best bit was the end, which we all ad-libbed in the studio, where I played the piano. Like one of my favorite bits on Ticket to Ride, where we just threw something in at the end. It was recorded at Abbey Road across a number of sessions in October and November 1967 as they worked on the Magical Mystery Tour TV film. The track was included on the film's soundtrack EP.